Hi, it's Rob from the Tepee builders. We have lots of great accessories in our Tepee builds, but one of our favourites has to be the internal fire pit. A fire pit is a great feature for any Tepee event, whether it's a wedding or a party. The fire pit is a place for your guests to congregate around. With its flickering flame, it creates its own magical atmosphere. Now for internal use, we use a bio-ethanol fire pit. That means you get the same flickering flame, but none of the smoke as if you were burning real timber. In this video, we're going to show you how we build one of our fire pits. So to begin with, we're going to look at the individual components that make up one of our bio-ethanol fire pits. A bio-ethanol fire pit consists of three components. The first component is a burner. Now inside the burner, we fill this with bio-ethanol fuel, and depending on how much the aperture opens and closes by, depends on how long it burns. This burner will burn from between 6 to 10 hours, depending on the aperture openage. The second component is the tray. The burner sits inside the tray, like so, and that stops it from moving about. Now we put stones around it to give it a bit of look so it hides the tray and makes it look more natural. The third and final component is the box which the burner and tray sits into. Now in this video we're going to show you how we build the box that this all fits into.
Hi, it's Paul from the Tepee builders. Now today we're going to show you exactly stage by stage how we build our fire pits. The first thing we have made and fabricated by a local fabricator is the steel fire pit itself. It's quite a weighty piece of steel. It's 2mm plate, and we have it made so that it can contain the ethanol burner. It also can be used outside where we can put sand in it and people can then have outside fires using logs. And it's very substantial. It doesn't cause any damage to the actual wooden fire pit itself. So to make the fire pit, what we do is turn it upside down and we take the outside measurements and we then build the actual chassis and the top upside down. It might seem a bit strange, but the reason we do that is because quite often when they're fabricated they don't all come out the same size, so we have to actually sort of custom build each fire pit off the actual measurements of the steel plate. Now the actual fire pit itself is built through basically reclaimed timber. We don't like using new timber because it has that sort of what I call the sort of IKEA look. So what we try and do is build ours in a rustic charm. So we use reclaimed scaffold boards. These have been dragged out from outside. You can see they're a little bit green, but they'll soon clean up. And we build the top, and they obviously give the fire pits that rustic charm. The next thing we do is then we get some straightforward 2x3 stud work from the local builders merchants, and we actually build the chassis that the fire pit stands on. So what we do is we kind of build it upside down so we can build each fire pit custom to the steel fire pit that we've had fabricated. And what we're going to do now is go through the assembly of actually assembling the chassis.
So we've got our finished chassis built here now. Now we've built a strong, firm structure. Now it's very important to build this because the next stage is we're going to put on the scaffolding planks, like in this one we've got here. Now we put two rails around the outside on the top here, so with extra fitting when we put the scaffolding plank on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the scaffolding plank on the outer edge here, and we're going to drill it and secure it to both of these rails to make it extra strong. That way, if anybody leans on it like that, the plank is not going to come away. Also, when we move it around, if any of the lads get it and lift it, it's also not going to pull free. Once we put the top on around the outside, we're then going to start by putting in all the shuttering around the outside to give it its shape and give it its rustic look. So we now got the top on, we've left this overnight, let the glue all dry so it's all nice and solid and firm. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a sander over this, take off any rough edges, make the edges just a bit rounded and clean up the timber. So that's what we're going to do now. So the first thing we're going to do is just sand off the bottom, take out any splinters, so if anybody puts their hands underneath, they don't get any rough surface. So I'm just going to run the sander along the bottom. Until I've got a nice smooth surface.
Now we've got the top sanded, we've got all the scaffold boards sanded down and made smooth so they're nice and soft to the touch. We're now going to start attaching the sides. Now what we use scrap timber, which is just 3-inch wide by about 1/4 inch timber. It's just like the top of a pallet, and actually it's similar to pallet material. And we're just going to attach the first one on the corner there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put panels, put pieces of timber all the way around so we can complete the sides and get it all panelled in. And we do it quite easily by putting a drill at the top, a drill in there, hole in there, and get an inch screw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it on that first corner, fits to the bottom, and put the first screw in. So I've got the first screw in there, I'll just put one in the bottom, and that is fixed to the corner. One screw at the bottom, and what we're going to do is put that screw in there. Perfect. So that is now attached, and what we'll do is we'll now take the next piece of cut timber, which is cut to size, we'll put the next piece on, and then obviously the next piece as we go round.
Now that with the panelling on and this kickboard here to give it a bit more strength at the bottom, we're ready to start treating it, taking it away from this plain kind of shade it is now to the brown that we use in our teepees. So the first thing we're going to do is put some caustic soda on it. We're just going to paint this on, and this will open up the pores in the wood so that the stain sits in it better. Okay, now that we've stained it with caustic soda, so we've got all the grain and timber, we're going to wheel it outside and let it dry. As you can see, it's already turned into this golden yellow colour, and as it dry, it will keep a similar sort of shade to this actually. And then we'll bring it back in when it's dry and stain it. Okay, it's all dried off now out in the sun, so as you can see the caustic soda has turned into this nice yellowy colour. So when we put the stain on it, it will solve into the grain and timber. So we're going to brush that on. like so, turning it to this nice brown colour like the rest of the other teepees. And we'll probably have to do 2 coats to get it properly in place. Then after that, we'll apply a varnish to the top so any water damage does not occur and bring out the wax. So that's it, one finished fire pit, all ready to go out and hire. So all we've got to do is put the tray in it, put the burner in it, and add the stones, and it's ready to go out and hire. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you some pictures of it in position at the next few events it goes to.